Hey guys, Maniac here at GameAccess.net. It's Avengers weekend, and if you guys haven't gone seen it yet, I've seen it. It's actually pretty good. But what I can't get over the fact is that a lot of people have been asking, where's the Avengers movie video game? Or just where is the Avengers video game that I was kind of hoping for to tie along with this Avengers movie that's being so successful and is so good? And I'm just basically looking at them with weird faces when I read these comments basically saying, guys, the Avengers video game was made 4 or 5 years ago at least. Here, it's right here. It's not called the Avengers, but it is the Avengers video game. This is Marvel Ultimate Alliance for the Xbox 360. This came out in 2006. It actually is a follow-up sequel to a game that was made a couple years before in the last console generation, which was the X-Men Alliance video game. This was in that design. The first X-Men video games came out. They were made by Raven. They were released on the consoles only. The GameCube, the Xbox, and the PlayStation 2. The first one never came to the PC. The second one did, as well as also going multi-platform, GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. And then the console generation came out. The new console generation came out, the Xbox 360 came out, and they decided that this was going to be the next game. So this is, as far as I know, the real Avengers video game. And actually, I've played it twice. It's actually really good. It's got all the characters that you would expect to be in it. Pretty much every single character that I could think of in the Marvel Universe was included in it. And on top of that, actually, several characters were added later on by DLC, because there was a lot of complaints, actually. It was like, even though it had a pretty full lineup of characters, there were plenty of characters that were not included. I think that, but the problem with that was that the game, as it was originally designed, was not intended to actually add new characters. It just wasn't, the game wasn't designed for a character roster originally. So that actually became a bit of a problem. They actually decided to patch the game, but the downside was that there were only certain versions of the game that could be patched. And I think the Xbox 360 was the only version of the game that could have been patched. So 8 new characters were actually added via DLC. 4 heroes, 4 villains. The game got re-released on the Xbox 360 and on the PS2 as like a gold edition or something like that, which this is not. But if you are able to find this game, or if you're interested in playing it, I certainly recommend seeking out the gold edition of it. The plotline of the game is just straight out of the pages of the Marvel Comics. Dr. Doom decides he's going to do something terrible, to create a whole legion of all these villains together in order to basically, quote-unquote, make himself the most powerful being in the universe, and powerful enough to basically destroy all the Marvel heroes that want to defeat him. The Avengers get together and realize it's going to take pretty much every superhero possible to defeat him. And you'll have the opportunity on the fly to swap out characters and stuff like that, and use a full access to all the Avengers. Like, you'll be able to play as all the members of the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, Thor, all the great things. There's some fantastic CGI cutscenes that are actually included. Just amazing stuff. Probably some of the best CGI I had seen at the time. Totally true to all the characters. Ghost Rider was included. God, who else? Blade was included. Those are unlockable characters that you get over the course of the game. Just awesome. You also have, I believe, minimum 4 unlockable different outfits for the guys, which was also great. It really is probably the Avengers game that a lot of Avengers and Marvel fans were really looking forward to. I think at the time there was a Justice League game that came out as well, but it was only for the PS2 and the Xbox. No, everyone admitted, like, this game was like light years ahead of that game in gameplay and stuff like that. Because this really, it was influenced heavily by the comics and stuff like that. Because at the time there was no there was no Avengers movie, so what did they... In fact, I don't think that there was no Marvel Studios at the time, so this kind of stuff wasn't really talked about. So the game actually predated all of this stuff by a long period of time. It was really well done. It has 4-player co-op. and drag and drop. You can pick whatever characters you want to play as. Just awesome game all around. If you can't find this if you're stuck with finding only this version of the game, I recommend the Xbox 360 version. If you can find the Gold Edition, even better, because that has the extra characters. If not, I don't know if the extra characters are still downloadable, but there are achievements tied into some of them, so that's just something to think about. There also was a sequel that probably more people remember, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. This was ripped from the pages of the comics directly because this was designed particularly for the Civil War. The objective of the game is to actually follow the Civil War Marvel epic event, basically, and that's what it had to do with. I have to admit, I'm ashamed to admit, I have not played this game all the way through, just the prologue and stuff like that. But what I played was actually really good. As for downloadable content on this as well, I have bad news for this one. If you haven't picked up this game yet, that all the downloadable content for it, I believe, was shut down. At launch, it had just the Juggernaut as downloadable content, but later on, a whole new slew of downloadable characters were added. The cool thing was that the Juggernaut could be played on either team. You had to, I think, at one point pick either which side of the Civil War you wanted to be on. But unfortunately, I think that with that, all the downloadable content is now has now been pulled for legal reasons. They only had access to the downloadable content for certain amounts, and it just can't be bought anymore. I think I picked this up actually around the time of Christmas, just before this thing they shut down the DLC permanently. So I had to pick it up because I only had like 2 or 3 days to actually get it. But yeah, there are actually patches that you can download, and I recommend this so that if you don't have the DLC, you can certainly download patches to make yourself compatible with playing with people that do have the DLC. But Avengers fans, assemble, because these games are actually really good. If you're looking for an Avengers video game, look up these games. They're really good. They're the Avengers games that people have always been wanting to play. Obviously, I'm sure some of you real diehard fans are probably aware of it, but apparently, from what I've been told, not too many people remember these games. I don't know why. This game, I believe, is on the, it's certainly on the PS3. I don't know exactly which platforms it really came to. I'm fairly certain it came to this, the PS3. As for this one, this pretty much can be available on any platform, although I recommend, I think the 2 most popular platforms that it came on was the Xbox 360, because that released a gold edition, and the PS2 because that also released a gold edition with all the extra characters on the disc. As for where you can get this standalone version of the game on, it's also on the PS3, PS2, original Xbox, just a bunch of other things. But please be aware that only the DLC came to the Xbox 360 version of it for download, not any other version unless it was they released it as a gold edition. And I'm fairly certain that only the Xbox and the PS2 version released a gold edition. PS3 version, however, actually has native 1080p support, which is unusual for PS3 games. So that was like a cool thing, was that they were able to work 1080p support in the PS3 edition if you have it. And I think also it might have some minor 6-axis support for certain scenes. But I thought that was pretty cool. And like I said, the original reason why it's only on the Xbox 360 is because the game wasn't originally designed for that. They had to patch it in. Only the Xbox 360 at the time had the infrastructure to patch in that sort of thing. It did not. They later, of course, all the later versions of the game, I'm sorry, for the later re-releases had the games on disc, and the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 had download built into it, so they knew they were going to do that. So, if you want the Avengers to assemble, start looking for those games. They're really cheap. They're pretty old games. If you can find them, by all means, pick them up or take a look at them. I totally recommend them just for the cutscenes alone on the first game. Great gameplay, fun to play with friends, fun to play online, that sort of thing. So, just wanted to tell you guys that if you're looking for the Avengers game, look no further. If you haven't seen the Avengers movie, I totally recommend it. It was a lot of fun to watch on the 3D IMAX that I saw it on. Gonna go see it again this week. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it again actually. So, and I just saw it. So until next time, guys, this is Maniac at GameAccess.net, and I just wanted to say, Avengers Assemble! Take care. Over and out.